Central Florida, Stetson, a lot of credit for them sticking with their game plan, creating good offensive opportunities for their teammates. I thought that their change in defenses, I thought, kind of unnerved us a little bit and created some indecision on our part. We had some moments where I thought we showed some life, but I think it was just the fact that, you don't ever want to say inexperienced, but it's probably the most inexperienced team that we've had, and I think we showed that tonight. I think we showed the inability to be consistent on the floor, and as disappointed as I was about defensively and rebounding, I thought we had a lot of game slippage on the offensive end where we were not that well-oiled machine that I had hoped that we would be this early in the season. I didn't see anything that is not fixable. Hopefully we'll learn that every team that we play like Stetson will be giving you their very, very best. It's a big adjustment for a lot of our players because we kind of stand on some shoulders of guys who have established a style of play, a legacy, a system of executing offensively and defensively that they're still learning and growing to learn to appreciate. We gotta be hopeful that the lack of things that we did not execute tonight, that we'll learn from this, and that we'll be much better prepared when we go down to Central Florida on Friday night. Any questions?
On the defensive end, limitations, the effort, was it communication issues, guys getting caught flat-footed, anything you put your finger on?
Well, every time, every once in a while you run against a guy that can throw it in for the parking lot. And I kind of think that was part of the problem. A kid just had one of those acceptance shooting nights. It didn't really matter how far he was from the basket. He had one of those type of nights that we've had guys have occasionally. And that's a bad combination when you're not really at your best and you have a guy like 25, he was just throwing them in from the parking lot. And we didn't do a very good job defending him. Now, that's probably been is a challenge for us because people consistently like to switch our big guy off on their little point guard. And that's the price you pay sometimes when you switch 1 through 5. But he never drove to the basket. He just had one of those nights where he just backed up a little further from the basket, and he happened to have one of those nights, which we were very ineffective in terms of defending his abilities. But I thought we had a lot of breakdown offensively and defensively. We had our moments where I thought that we really played the type of ball that we've been accustomed to. But we lacked that shot blocking, that interior defending the rim presence that we've had. But I thought our 2 freshmen who played, I thought they gave a full account of themselves. But I just think overall as a team, we showed our innocence, and hopefully we'll learn from this game and be much better prepared when we go on Friday night.
Leonard, you mentioned before, your most experienced players on this team are in their 2nd season in the program. Where do you think the leadership, do you see signs of where it might come from?
Well, it has to come from everybody, because to expect second-year guys that have the maturity to lead like some of the juniors and seniors that we've had in the past, you go all the way back to Tony Douglas and Uche and those guys had team meetings on top of team meetings and on top of team meetings because they were older and matured and had earned the right for guys to respect them. Right now, that's the challenge we have, but we can overcome that. Instead of having the leadership, then we all have to be as one on the same page. It's a little more challenging, but that's who we are. This edition of our team is who we are, and we feel we love them. We think we have a chance to develop into a pretty good basketball team, but we can't do that unless we grow up with a little more execution, offense and defense. I mean, we blocked out and didn't go get the rebound. You know, we turned our head and gave us some back doors. And believe it or not, fellas, we are a really good free throw shooting team. I know we didn't show it tonight, but we have done such a good job shooting free throws up to this point. But that just shows what happens when you have a lot of guys out there on the court that are just trying to, the first time they've been in situations like this. And there's a part of growing mentally and emotionally as well as physically. And we showed our inexperience. We showed our lack of togetherness and unity that we've always played with. And our system defensively has always been a team ball. I've used this phrase for 20 years. We win by committee. You know, offensively, we move the ball, we make the extra pass. We have, in the last 5 or 6 years, we've had 9 different guys lead us in scoring. You know, so that's who we are. But a lot of them have been young, inexperienced players, led by juniors and seniors. Right now, we got to find a way to accelerate the learning process. We got to find a way to overcome the first game jitters or whatever that is that you have to adjust to. And we're capable. You know, I always say true test of your character is how you handle adversity. You know, everybody can be happy when everything's going good and you got all your full complement of players, you know, and I'm hoping that the fact that we down 4 of our guys that was in the rotation, I hope they're not mentally having the pity party that we don't know anything about. We got to overcome that. And I think if we do, you know, we'll get people back, and, with the exception of Gainey, and I think we can overcome whatever lack of inexperience we have, and also our execution. I was really disappointed in our offensive execution tonight. The ball didn't move. I think some of that they're very confident that they can do certain things, and I think that's part of the process too. Learning how to play with your teammates, learning their strengths and their weaknesses. You would like to think that we would have learned that by now, but it's the process we're in.
Coach, can you talk about what you liked out of Tom House tonight, and what led you to not playing him as much in the second half for the most part?
Well, you know, you haven't been around very long, have you?
Here or there. I know you like to ride with your experienced guys.
No, that's not necessarily. I think we try to keep everybody fresh. And there are certain things there wasn't anything that he didn't do, but, you know, we try not to pay people 38 minutes. You know, the most we like to play people is, you know, 24, 25, maybe sometimes we go 27. So 21 minutes is more than Pat Williams played as a freshman, you know. And so my point to you, we have a tremendous amount of confidence in Tom House. I mean, he's going to be a real good player for us. And I think he's showing signs of that. But we needed something else on the floor, and I thought we came back several times. He contributed, but it wasn't necessarily him. It was our execution as a team. And when the game was on the line, yes, I did go with my older, more experienced players, my first and second year players. That's as far as I can go from experience standpoint.
Coach, you mentioned rebounding a couple of times, and I mean, is this one of those years where it's just got to be a full team effort?
No doubt.
And it seemed like some guys were maybe watching some rebounds.
You saw that too, huh?
Especially the first half.
And you know, we're not accustomed to people jumping over top of us from an athletic standpoint. There were times when we blocked out, but we didn't go get the ball. You know, and we're better than that. You know, it's sometimes I guess, I know as coaches, I have to be careful when I start evaluating guys. I have to accept the fact there's a learning process. And I'm not real sure we've ever had to rely on this many guys who are still growing and developing in our program. But this is who we are this year. This is the team, this is what we have to overcome. And I think we have enough experience on our staff that if there's any way possible for us to figure this out, I think we will. You got to be careful Just call it like it is. Be honest and be upfront. Not try to be so negative. We got to maintain a positive approach to it, but we also got to hold everybody accountable. This is not one guy. This is a team thing that we have to join in. Everybody got to hold themselves accountable. And we don't have enough experienced guys on the team where you can turn and look to the leadership, because our most experienced guys are learning and growing too. So we had some seniors last year that have gone on, and we just avoid most of our players are first and second year players. We can overcome that. You know, we can overcome that. And those of you who've been around, we've had some games like this before, and I think we've shown that we have the ability to overcome it.
You alluded to it. Is there a hope with the state of the depth you might be able to bolster that a little bit here in the not too?
Excuse me?
Is there a hope you might be able to, some guys who are out tonight might be able to be available in the near future?
I don't think by Friday, but I do think Jackson is very close to getting released. We thought it was going to be 6 weeks, but I think doctors are cautious. You know, they want to make sure that the kid comes back. You know, he's going to be able to finish the season. Right now, he's probably the closest. Cam Fletcher, he's kind of nursing a back injury. We don't let him practice. He just plays. You know, he walks through things, but we try to make sure we do right by him, because we really need him on the floor. You know, he gives us a tremendous amount of energy and athleticism. We've lost some of that, but I think that we could probably go see this week is going to read the situation. Right now, we keep him out of contact drills. We let him work on the non-contact drills, and it seems to be working. The other night after the game, the next day he was really sore, couldn't practice. So we've been in situations like this before, where we've had to play with kids who could play, but we didn't need to aggravate the injuries during the week.
Everybody else set?